Hola, Lawrence Lancers. I'm both humbled and excited about being a finalist to be the next superintendent of Lawrence Public Schools. I was raised here in Lawtown, as you call it, many years ago and love working in Lawrence. My name is Ralph Carrero, and I'm the superintendent of Lawrence Family Development Charter School here in Lawrence, Massachusetts. I've been the superintendent here for the last 17 years. I am also the director of CSU Lawrence, which is the center that provides many, many services, including basketball to young people here in the city of Lawrence. I've been an educator for about 40 years, 17 as superintendent, as I mentioned, and 19 as the student service coordinator at Greater Lawrence Technical High School in Andover. I have a strong passion for working with kids from Lawrence. I believe that with my years of experience, knowledge of successful strategies, and all the support programs I've established in the schools that I have worked at, I am confident that together we can make LPS a model school district that other schools will admire and come to ask how we became so successful. I have worked with many staff members of LPS. I have a great respect for them. They need a leader that communicates with them, supports them, and LPS parents needs a leader that understands their culture and will educate their kids with dignity and respect. One of my biggest attractions to Lawrence Public Schools is the fact that it is almost completely Hispanic, with the majority from Dominican descent. My kids went to Lawrence Public Schools. My brother and sister graduated from Lawrence Public Schools. And I'm hopeful that we can create a school district that specializes in programs that include ethnic Hispanic cultures, providing confident, educated, well-prepared kids of Hispanic descent to take on the world and to be able to take on life, especially in this early part of this century. Thank you for the question. I am an excellent communicator with staff and with kids. I work well with everyone, including hard-to-reach people. And as adults, we encounter a lot of those. I support everyone that is involved with kids, from food service workers to custodians to teachers to paraprofessionals. I often tell people that we're only as strong as our weakest link. And that's why I think anyone that is involved with kids in schools ought to have knowledge of how to work with kids. I tell people when they come to meet with me with a problem, be prepared to offer a solution. I always ask when hearing people about issues, problems, suggestions, at the end of that, how does your suggestion help improve the life of kids and have a positive impact? I support kids and constantly ask for their ideas. In fact, a very successful strategy of mine is to create student councils, advisory boards, and have students serve on committees. I enjoy constantly being around parents and helping parents advocate for their kids. One of the most important things that I do with parents is to help create a level of trust that they need with teachers, because together they're going to make success out of every one of their children that they have in the school district. I am a very good negotiator. And that comes from the years of experience that I've had having to deal at the level that I have of trying to please everyone. I strongly believe that professional development is important for every employee. I use data, numbers, surveys, and finances to make informed decisions. I have created great programs that support kids and help them. I believe strongly that so long as I have an open door, which I exercise regularly for everyone, including students, that we together can make things happen and we can bring the changes about in the school district. So I am a consensus builder. As I mentioned, I'm a collaborator, and I am not afraid to make mistakes. But more importantly, I'm not afraid to say I'm sorry. My vision for the Lawrence Public Schools is to help create a model school district that specializes in culturally educational programs that prepare students to take on this changing world by creating a school building district based on trust between parents and teachers. The environment under which kids educate themselves, uh, teachers work and staff is very, very important. We refer to those as cultural levers inside the school district. And it's important that we create that so that everyone feels safe, feel as if they're learning, feel as if they're growing. I believe strongly that when we create a school district with an environment that is continuously and constantly advocating and looking for themselves as to how to better themselves, we're going to create the type of students that are worthy of taking on this world and taking over all of the positions that soon we will leave when we retire. Teachers are probably the most important component of an educational environment. And I know we have a lot of great teachers in the city of Lawrence, and they have been there for many, many years. I often state that a teacher from Lawrence that has been teaching there anywhere from 5 to 10 years can go teach anywhere. Because unfortunately, some of the conditions that they've had to work under, it could be pretty stressful, or they didn't have enough supplies to undertake the job that they are supposed to do. I will support teachers by making sure they have the supplies they need, that the buildings are safe and secure, that they have adequate professional development, that they have support staff to work with them, that they have proper planning time, that they understand the district goals and that their technology works each and every day, all the time, that they understand and receive their student assessments on a timely basis, that they have a mentorship program that's effective. In fact, one of the things that I've been working on, especially with all of the new teachers that we have coming into all of the district, is expanding the mentorship program over 5 years, because many of the teachers that are coming on board are on emergency license, and they never had the opportunity to go to a teacher prep program. And it's important that we give them all the support that they need to be successful. I will help teachers understand how to use data to effectively put together lesson planning that touches on all the modalities for kids. And it's important that teachers feel that they have all the supplies and support from within all of the school buildings and the districts. One of those that's very important also is that they need to feel valued by our parents. And that's what that trust factor is all about. So I hope that we can create that together, and that's going to set the precedent for us making a quality model school district that many will envy. Obviously, coming off of the pandemic years, social, emotional well-being, health is vitally important, not just for students. And I think that that's an excellent question. We have to make sure that teachers feel valued and that they have a solid mental state. Supporting teachers' well-being and social emotional is very important. I just recently approved creating a LinkedIn performance SEL program, so all of our staff can have self-paced professional development outside of the classroom for other areas that are certificate programs. And I think people, when they're learning things, they have an opportunity to think about upward mobility and growth, helps with their mental state of being. I want to make sure that our human resource department is creating programs so that teachers have and staff have an opportunity to get together after school weekends and use the facilities for other programs. In our school, not that I've ever been a supporter of it, but they do yoga. And now I understand why. So I think that those pieces are important. I also want teachers to know that I do a lot of surveys. I want to hear what's going on in their buildings so that they're valued. And oftentimes when you do surveys, they just look at them and they don't even get back to us. I will always return the survey results and let staff know if we incorporate them into the new policy handbook or in their classrooms. I think it's important that teachers have a voice, that there's an open door policy, and there's a chain of command, but if they're not satisfied with an answer, that they can go up the chain and not feel as if they're going to be retaliated against. One of the professional development things that I think that bring teachers together and help them with their mental health is I've created a program called Book Talk, where we have selected readings, and it doesn't have to be educational, by the way. But anytime you read a book or you have different people read books, you also interpret them through the experiences that you have had growing up. It allows them the opportunity to have a chat, to talk about the book, the things that they think that it's important, and if they recommend them to others. But most important, I think the opportunity for professional growth is both stimulating and mentally satisfying. It's important that we have well-rounded teachers that they feel valued in order to then work with their students. I want to start answering that question by saying thank you to the person that put that question forward. I know that I've been an educator for a long time and I have strategies for English language learners. I know very well special education and the services, Title I and regular education. But you know what? That person helped me think of how important that is. And I also did a little bit of reading on neurodivergency. I want to answer that question not just on students. I want to also answer that question based on why it's important for staff. Bringing staff on that come from a neurodivergent environment helps strengthen the cause of our multicultural, multilingual, different type of learning styles that we have in the classrooms. So I want to examine our human resource policies to check that we acknowledge and that we welcome staff that are neurodivergent. I want to make sure that we have people on hiring teams that include individuals that are trained and knowledgeable and come from that type of background. I want to make sure that we provide professional development in this area with strategies for working with kids. I want to create mentorships for check-ins for staff members that are coming into our school district that are from a neurodivergent population, and let them know that they're supported and they're welcomed. I also think that if we identify those types of individuals, when we have kids that we identify that are neurodivergent, who better to be a mentor to our students? But speaking of students, I think it's important that we provide services for neurodivergent students through adjustment counselors. Adjustment counselors can serve as check-in individuals to make sure that they're adapting to their school, that they're adapting to their grade, that they're adapting to their peers. I want to make sure that we can track their progress through social emotional learning and with benchmarks within the RTI, the response to intervention system that we have. I think it's important that we integrate artificial intelligence, AI, which is a wonderful phenomenon for specialized tutoring, and that they can avail themselves with those type of programs. I also want to ensure that lesson plans that are being used are touching upon the 3 different learning modalities so that you have a cross-reference of every type of student learner. And it's important also that the lesson plans have a sheltered immersion strategy for English language learners, and that there's a strong collaboration between English language learner teachers and special education teachers. I also want to discuss ways for classroom teachers to use alternative assessments for many of these students, because I think at the end of the day, we know that neurodivergent students learn at a different pace and different way. But that doesn't mean that they don't have the talent or the skills to be able to master the concepts that teachers are teaching. And I think that that's important for them. So I thank you for that question. I thank the committee for the questions that they've asked me. It's important to me to meet the community. I look forward to the next several days of working with subcommittees and talking to stakeholders and entertaining your questions. And I invite you all to come to our school district and call individuals to find out who I am, where I've been, and why I still stay here. So I thank you for the opportunity. As I stated earlier, I'm humbled and honored to be a finalist, to be the Lawrence Superintendent of Lawrence Public Schools.